Hello there, Rip City, and welcome in to another episode of the 1977 podcast, a podcast that runs an astounding 19 minutes and 77 seconds in honor of your 1977 world champion, Portland Trailblazers. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt, and when you're listening to the podcast, first off, thank you. But when you're not listening to the podcast, you can still reach out to me. Just follow me on social media at Chris J. Burkhardt. And of course, you can tune in to Blazers Game Day 2 hours before tip-off in the fifth quarter after every single Blazers game, plus much more Blazer content, all from yours truly over on Rip City Radio 620. Now, you can listen to that in your car. You can also download the iHeartRadio music app and listen to it wherever you may be listening. And those shows stream live on YouTube. So plenty of ways to get more Blazer content. But the title of this podcast is Connect 4? Because later tonight, as of this recording, the Blazers will be in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. A chance to go 3-0 on this road trip. They already got wins over Miami and wins over Orlando, and they could come back home winners of 4 straight games. That would be beautiful. Beautiful. A thing of beauty. Now, I know if your team tank, it's not. I know if your team tank, that is not what you want to hear. Let me tell you what. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to take the wins because they're important. They're important in the development of this young team, and they're also maybe important in the shopping of some of these vets that you're showing off. But I love that the fact over these last week or so since the last episode and over these last 3 games, I just love the way the team's playing, man. That game in Orlando, they won on the back of their defense. That game in Miami, they won because they got out to the big lead, which doesn't happen very often with this team, and then they were able to hold on to it late. Miami made a comeback, but they just couldn't get it done. And then in that game against the Chicago Bulls, it was kind of the same thing. They just kind of let everyone go out there, and the young guys took care of business. Coach only went 9 deep in the rotation, if you count, the 10 minutes that Delano Banton and Jabari Walker played. Scoot Henderson led the way in that win over Chicago with 25 points and 8 assists, and he's had the 39-point game against Brooklyn, and just double-doubles here and there, and he's flirted with triple-doubles. He's been phenomenal. Now, he's also had some bad. I mean, that game against Orlando, not great. Not great, because he goes out there, he gets into foul trouble, so he doesn't get to play a lot, never got in a rhythm. He ended the night with just 4 points. He only had a handful of assists, 2 assists, 6 personal fouls when it was all said and done, right? Fouls out. I had 4 of them in the first half, could not get in a rhythm. And I've always said, if a guy has a good game, you praise it. When he has a bad game, you call it out too. You can't just be all negative no matter what, all happy no matter what. You just got to call it how it is. And that was a bad game, but I hope that is more of a outlier moving forward, because again, over the last few weeks, Scoot's been incredible. Ever since that game in Brooklyn where he found himself, he's been a star. And the last episode I did, that was the title of the episode, Scoot, right? He was great. He was great. The only bad part is when Anthony Simons is healthy and the team is going the way they want, I mean, he gets relegated to the bench right now. And it's obvious that he's better in that starting role. But you do have, 2 weeks or so till the trade deadline, and maybe that thing will sort itself out. I'll tell you what, you look at that Orlando Magic team, and I know it is an easy connection to make because Anthony Simons is a Florida kid. He's from Orlando. That's hometown, right? But you cannot tell me that if they take that lineup as it is right now, they keep Anthony Black at point guard because he's done a pretty good job there, and they sub out Kentavious Caldwell-Pope at the starting 2 spot with Anthony Simons, that does not give them the offensive kick that they need. Right? And you could argue, but Chris, if he'd be good for Orlando, why isn't he good for Portland? Just because the way that team's made. He's got a guy that's going to go command the paint in Paulo Banchero. He's got another guy who's going to space the floor in Franz Wagner. He's got 2 guys who have gravity, and they need another shooter on that team. He would be an absolute perfect fit. And unlike in Portland, he wouldn't be the 1 or the 2. He'd probably be the 3rd option because Wagner and Banchero are great. Yeah, watch out for the Orlando Magic on the Anthony Simons front. And the game he had against him last night was definitely one of those. Yeah, look at me. I'm here. 21 points. I'm a hometown kid. You guys want some scoring? I can show you. It's right here. I got family here in a house, basically. If I'm ready to go, come a knocking. Okay, and we'll see what happens. Trade deadline February 6th. But once he gets out of the way and then you get some more playing time for Scoot Henderson, it'll be a good thing. But a lot has happened in the last few games. I mean, Shaedon Sharpe is now coming off the bench because Chauncey Billups didn't like the way he plays defense, and he has to kind of earn that spot back. And Denny Avdia's back in the lineup. Jeremy Grant's back from injury. Robert Williams and DeAndre Ayton have been playing musical chairs with who's in and who's out and who's resting, and it's been kind of crazy. But again, the Blazers have found ways to win. And I love the Orlando game because a game that was pretty ugly, where both offenses tended to struggle. I thought that when it mattered the most, the Blazers defense really showed up. I mean, Jabari Walker, a career high, 6 steals. Robert Williams had 4 blocks in that game. The Blazers forced 22 Orlando Magic turnovers. I mean, that's good basketball right there. Coach Billups said it after the game that, that was, probably the best the team that has played defense in the time he's been there. And so you love that from them. And again, for Team Tank, who doesn't like it, you know what? Like, wins happen, losses are going to happen more. We're going to take a look at that schedule in a second and tell you what I mean, because boy, howdy, is that schedule coming up very, very brutal. But I do think it'd be great for the Blazers to go into Charlotte, go 3-0 on this road trip, build a little confidence for this team, and then over the gauntlet that's coming up over the next few weeks, play good basketball. You're going to take your losses, but if you can make it interesting and keep it close, or you get blown out or you lose, but you kept it close the whole time because you were playing your ass off, that's good. That's fine by me, right? If you get out talented, you get out talented, but never get out hustled. You know what I'm saying? And again, I like the way they've been playing. That game in Miami where they were able to get out to the big lead and then they didn't squander it all away. Miami came close. They mounted a comeback. Yes, they did. But I think Portland did a very good job in making sure that lead did not dwindle to 0, right? They held on to it, did everything they could. And that game against Chicago, they found ways to win, had good performances from everybody. So it's all around been pretty good basketball around these parts. Is there things to pick apart? Oh, yeah. You can pick plenty apart. There's still some lackluster defense. There's been people sleeping here and there, right? Obviously, the injury bugs are just about everywhere all of a sudden. But you can't completely hate on it, man. I'm not upset that the team has won 3 in a row. And I do think it's all going to buoy itself out in the end. Because let me tell you what, back to that whole schedule we were talking about a second ago, it's about to get nasty. Now, as of this recording, the Portland Trailblazers are the 8th worst team in the NBA. That's where they sit in the Tankathon rankings right now. A 6% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. Ahead of them, Philadelphia, who's just been, a dumpster fire and hasn't figured it out with their injuries to Embiid and Paul George and all that stuff. Brooklyn, who is on the up and up. Like, I think they're figuring out who they want to be and what they're going to be, but they still struggle for wins. Charlotte, who just can't figure it out and hasn't been able to figure it out as long as I've been an NBA fan. New Orleans, who the injury bug came and bit them early and they haven't been able to recover. And then Toronto, Utah, and Washington, who we all knew were going to be bad. Washington is bad though. Like Washington, I don't know, like their future is like what? Big question mark. And they're sitting there at number 1. And so people get upset because the Blazers go and win 3 in a row and they fall now to the 8th worst record in the league, right? It is falling when you improve in this stance, talking about the Tankathon. And people get, oh, we're done. The capture the flag race is over. We're too far out. You are not. Think of this for a second. Right now, again, in the overall standings, Washington is kind of running away here. But Utah only has a 5-game lead over your Portland Trailblazers, right? Portland is only 4 games back from the 3 spot with Toronto and New Orleans there at 3 and 4, right? And they're only 3 games back from the 5 spot, the Charlotte team that they have to play tonight. And why I'm not too worried, and I say things should buoy themselves out, because think of this for a second. The Blazers play Charlotte today. That is Friday, January 24th. They do not play a team that is not currently in the playoffs, right? Or the play-in, which counts as the playoff, right? They do not play a team that is not a play-in or better team until February 22nd when they rematch against this Charlotte Hornet team. Think about that for a second. That's a gauntlet to go through for basically the entire month of February moving forward. When they get back from this road trip, they get welcomed home by the number 1 team in the Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then immediately after that, they get the number 4 team in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, that's fun. How do we go from there? Oh, you get Orlando, who, yes, you just beat, but you got to remember, they're trying to acclimate Banchero back fully, and they just got Franz back, and they're going to get better and find their ways. That's not an easy win by any means, but it is an easier game than the other two, but then they get back-to-backs against Phoenix, who, again, Phoenix has been struggling this year, but currently a play-in team in the West, and you never know. Maybe they have Jimmy Butler by that time. Then they get Indiana at home, and Indiana, the 5th best team in the Eastern Conference right now. And then they get Sacramento, who is what? Oh, a play-in team in the West. Then they get Minnesota, who is a play-in team in the West. Then they get 2 games in a row against Denver, one of the best teams in the Western Conference as well, top 4. And then they get everyone's favorite Los Angeles Lakers, the 5th best team in the Western Conference. And then they get that matchup on February 22nd against Charlotte again, the second and final matchup against them of the season. And that's the first time in that stretch that they play a team that is currently not a playoff team, that is a bona fide lottery team. Whew. So yeah, losses are going to come in that stretch. And of course, that stretch right there where they get Charlotte, that's an important one too, because those are winnable games, but you might not want to win them by that point, because that is a 4-game stretch where they face Charlotte, Utah, Washington, and Brooklyn, all teams currently worse than them in the Tankathon standings, right? Then they get at Cleveland. Yeah, that's nasty because Cleveland's filthy good. You dabble and you throw a little Philadelphia 76ers in there because they're bad. And then you get at Boston, at Oklahoma City, Detroit, Golden State, home against New York. Yeah, there's a gauntlet of games to come for your Portland Trailblazers, and losses are going to happen. How this all buoys out, though, will be interesting. It will be interesting. And you need some other teams to win. And ideally, you kind of lose those games where it's at Utah, at Washington, at Brooklyn. That wouldn't hurt too bad, right? And I know Tankathon fans want the Blazers to lose tonight against Charlotte. But I do think if you win tonight and you come back home on a 4-game win streak, it can be pretty good, because it's going to get snapped on Sunday. At least conventional wisdom would say so, right? The Oklahoma City team is no slouch whatsoever. But I do got to say, even with the losses coming in the future, because they're going to happen, you do gotta tip your cap to this team, because this team's been playing better and they've been finding ways to win games. And you can go back and through some of the losses, like you look at the loss they had against Brooklyn. I thought you can look at it and say, yeah, it was a 20-point loss, but that was just they played their asses off and ran out of gas. Absolutely ran out of gas. LA, it was the same. It was 20-point loss, 30-point loss. It was young guys, everyone dealing with injuries, and people are hurt. And then you get Houston, who's a great team, and you try to stick with them, but you just can't. And then you come and you bounce back, and you get Chicago, you get Miami, you get Orlando. And I like that bounce back there. Again, has there been bad? Absolutely, there's been bad. But I do think there's been some good here too. This little 3-game win streak is not bad. They don't happen very often. They had 1 3-game win streak all of last season. And that was in the games 4, 5, and 6 on the year. And that was their only 3-game win streak. So right now they got 2 of them this year. 2 of them this year. Now, could they win 4? We will see. That would be nice, wouldn't it? You got to go all the way back to the start of the 2022-2023 season when Damian Lillard was still the Trailblazer for the last time the Blazers won 4 in a row. They started that season, their first 4 games, a win over Sacramento on the road, a win against Phoenix in overtime at home, a win at Los Angeles, the Lakers brand, and then at home against Denver. That was the last time this team has won 4 in a row. They also had a 3-game win streak twice that season, 3 times that season actually, but never surpassed that 4. So again, you'd be doing something that the Blazers haven't done in basically 2 full seasons. So take it and then go take the losses, because the losses will come. We've talked about this before. We know it's going to happen. You can go back to the season before that, the 2021-22 season. The Blazers also had just 1 4-game win streak. Excuse me, 2. I found another one. Look at that. They don't happen that often. That's the point. That's the point. So if they go and get one this time, just take it. Why be upset about it? Why be upset about it? Because they might go and hit this homestand 7 games, and they might go 1-6. I mean, let's be completely realistic here. I mean, Oklahoma City, Milwaukee. Oh my gosh. It's what a way to start a homestand. What a way. And then Orlando, a double against Phoenix, Indiana, and Sacramento. Wins are going to be hard to come by, so take it. That game against Tuesday, though, oh boy, TNT. Everybody's covering. Get some national coverage. Damian Lillard coming to town. Portland does have a way. Anthony Simons and co. He's 2-1 against Dame now, right? Maybe that's the one they get on that homestand. Wouldn't that be something? They tend to have Milwaukee's number all of a sudden. But again, losses will come, man. I just love the fact that Tumani's been out there playing. I thought that game against Orlando was incredible, considering he was dealing with food poisoning and hadn't eaten anything for 48 hours prior to tip. The only reason he played is because his mom was in town, according to reporting from Casey Holdall on the road. And he goes out there and has 16 points and, tears it up and fills up the box score like only he does. He's been a gem. And Denny Avdia has been a gem. And when healthy, you guys love Donovan Clingan, right? You need Scoot to take the next step. You need Shaedon Sharpe to get out of the doghouse and start playing how we all want him to. That game against Orlando was not good for him either, right? You need him to go out there and score and be a dog. I talked about this the other day on game day in the 5th quarter is you need Shaedon Sharpe to be able to walk into a gym and say, I am the baddest MFer in this gym. There is nobody better than me. There's 19,000 people in this building. Every single one of them came to watch me. And I know that sounds cocky, but you know what? That's that Mamba mentality everybody always talks about with Kobe. Kobe ain't never walked into a gym where he thought someone was better than him. Neither did MJ, right? I had Oliver Maroney on Trailblazers Courtside last week, and we were talking about Dylan Brooks, right? Dylan Brooks has that mentality. That he is the baddest son of a gun on any NBA court he's on. He pokes bears, remember? Now, he's not one of the best players in the NBA, right? He's not Kevin Durant. He's not LeBron. He's not SGA. But boy, howdy, is he a pest, and he makes Houston better. And the thing is, that mentality, that I'm a badass, that's what takes him from being an average NBA player to a pretty darn good NBA player. That attitude can make good players great. It can make average players good. It can make bad players average. Because the mental part of the game is just as important as the physical part of the game. Right? Shea has the physical part down pat. Now I just want him to know that he's a big dog. And do more than just bark, man. Go bite a little. Because you are a bad mamma jamma. I like Shea a lot. I just need him to get out of the doghouse and just play to his potential, because he's good. We all know he's good. He knows he's good. He's just got to show it off. That's going to do it, though, for the 1977. We're up against the clock. You guys are 1-4. Remember, 2 hours before every game and after every Trailblazers game on Rip City Radio. You can catch me on game day and the 5th quarter. Courtside Mondays as well. And, of course, right here on the 1977. Until next time, Rip City. You guys have a wonderful day.
You've been listening to the 1977 podcast. See you next time.